Okay, so what I think I'm gonna do next is a couple of edits to this trigger guard here. Gotta make sure I go to edges. And I'm going to get down this line here. And let me just go to ring mode or loop mode. Get all of that and just control backspace to get rid of that detail for now. Okay. Now what I want to do is actually get the detail back in that and connect it, and then connect there. Okay. And while I'm here, oops, gonna round out this corner with I think 2 or 3 chamfer segments, probably 2. It's not a huge corner. Let's try 3. Is there much of a visual difference? Yeah, it's slightly noticeable, so I'm going to go ahead and pop that guy. Now, what I want to do is even this out a little bit here. Again, I got to remember that my curve begins to tighten as I go around here. And so what I'm going to do is see what my loop will pick up, which is not going to be an awful lot. So I might as well turn it off so it doesn't shoot down once it can figure it out. Okay. Now I think I'm going to start here. I may want to do another operation before I do this, but I think I'm okay. I need to get this curve here, which I'm hitting up straight right here, but I can pretty much cut it and pull it out manually, I think, even after I run this chamfer. Now this is a very slight curve here. However, it is more than just picking up a specular highlight. There is an actual curve there, but what I don't need, let me drop down to 2 segments. I don't need it to be very deep, and it's screwing up because I've got these extra edges coming off this. So I'm gonna quickly, you don't need to worry about the backside anymore, just backspace those out. Now I might actually be able to loop mode. Yeah, it still can't go far enough. Did figure that part and that part out. Now my chamfer I think should be okay. Yep, looks okay. Again, I can still split down my rings. I probably could get away with one segment. I'm 3,000 gives me another 100. The other thing is I can split it later by ringing it, so I'm going to keep that. And if I have extra detail, I'll round that out a little better next time as I hit it again. Now I want to connect this and make it planar in the Z, so it's flat. Okay, you can see I got some extra stuff left over up here that I need to tie up. So now what I can do is take this and see if it wants to widen it, which is not what I want. But I can take this guy and stay on that to maintain going that way. And I can actually pretty much just connect it here. Gives me a try there. And I got one extra one here that I don't need anymore. Okay. And I can hit this again with the connect and the planer. Okay, so let's start to go and look at this in see-through to see where I actually need. Oops, I don't want to be on edge anymore. This is going to be the start of my curve. Go by verts, it's going to be a little easier. Okay, hit it one more time. Can help round it out a little bit more. And I think for now that might be good enough. Now this guy, I'm just going to actually probably save myself having to move it if I just hit it with the flow connect. So it's a little bit more of a curve on that one. It's actually relatively straight there. You can see on these could definitely use a little help in maintaining the curve. Which kind of broke here. I'm trying to think what's the best approach to fix this. Probably to go here and here. Which I do end up with some nasty crap going on this way. However, if I take all these without breaking anything too much, especially if I hit edge, I can make it planar in the Z. Then actually came to a pinch, which is actually okay, because it does terminate there at some point. Get a bit of a nasty edge going there. Let's see what happens if I do that without edges. Then turn edges back on and move that down. Where was it originally? It's actually up here. So let me try it with edges on. It's actually about there, so. And I'm going to do what I did up at the top and just bring that to a point so it starts ending. And that's okay. Alright. I can actually do that here too. I'll get rid of that stupid triangle up at the top. And this does terminate anyway. So even though that's just not correct, I think the curve does continue through. It's not doing me any good in my model. Let me make sure this is planar in the X, which I think it was. However, it's a little high again, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ring through here, which should stop there. Nice, which is good. However, it did carry on to the front. Make sure it didn't go up to the top anywhere or anywhere on the back that I don't want. Good. I'll just connect that. Make sure it's one segment. Let's actually flow connect that. Okay, that'll be a nicer curve, and then I can join that guy there. Now I need to round this desperately. You can see this one point in the middle. Bring that in line. Till it looks parallel with everything else. Looks okay. So that's not the point that curves. It's flat here in the middle, but this whole thing here curves. Let me just make all this. Actually, I don't think I want to make that planar in the Z. Let me just move this guy up. And do the same thing on this one. Okay. And now this is going to break. I'm going to have to do some repair. Let me get rid of that guy really quick. So I'm anticipating it getting in the way of my chamfer. And we'll see what we get. If I dope, I don't want to do the segments. Just want to get my distance. And now I can do my segments. And they're not terrible. I did left with Spider-Man's armpit over here, but I can fix that easy enough. Curve looks good here. However, the curve doesn't. Let me cancel it really quick. It's a really wide curve, and then needs to chamfer around it. So actually, I don't believe I have much choice but to fix it. Luckily, I only got to fix one side. So in doing that, the first order of business is just going to be tying up all that. It's a little tough, like I said, because I got a curve that shoots down this way in a situation where I've actually already added a curve. So what I can do is increase that some, but I also need to bring the middle with it. I don't want to raise this up too much because then I start losing my actual depth, my height here, the amount of space I got going on. So I'm going to bring this down a little bit until I kind of match what I got going on over here. Put that in line. And what I can do now is, once again, infamous cheat. I'm just going to terminate it there. I don't want to have that run all the way down my grip. Could, but I don't want that. And just do a flow connect. And that gives us a little bit nicer curve going on there, and an easily terminatable spot here. Okay, it's not too shabby. Okay, it's a little out of whack. Let me just see what happens if I set flow on just those two really quick. Might bork. Let me extend it to there, and I'll leave that guy. And I'll extend it to here. Now I'll go set flow. Didn't want to move this one because this one was already in a alright position. Did slightly clean it up. I'm not sure I'm digging the way this is working out, but it's not totally awful because it's split more segments here than it is down here, which is pretty much what I wanted. Even that out some. Move that guy down a little bit. And it's really not the worst thing I've ever built. Okay, let me manually just repair what's going on here. With these really long curves, sometimes it's kind of tough when you're out of curve whack. Like this is a little out of whack here. Also, this is too, which would mean I need to take all this and make it planar in the Y. Okay, that fixes that flat, which means I've got something funky going on here. Let me get the Y of this guy. backspace that. Looks alright. So it's getting cleaner. This one for some reason feels too far forward. Or too dipped up or something. I think it's dipped up a hair. It looks a little better. And it's really not that bad. Again, I'm at 3,200 polygons. A lot of this detail that I detached over here, I can kind of stick back on. I did say I was going to split this going up to continue this, and probably up this way, which would get me right across here. Anyway, let's not go all the way to the top because I don't need it, but I can go to there and connect. This one, I'm just going to insert a vert manually and then connect it manually. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to dump that and that. And connect it like so. Let's take this edge here and even it out a little bit. See what set flow does for us. Nah. Meh. And then we'll take that one and looks okay. I'm going to take these two and even those out, even that guy out a little bit. Even though I added this, I'm going to leave it, because I'm going to need it, I think. So I think I'm kind of clean right now. This does seem like a good time to just take a bit of a global look at what's going on and just kind of scour over the model and see if I can't see any glaring, really bad problems. Can do a little connecting work here. Let's see what we get. See if I can't get some quads going here. It's going to be a little tight. Let's undo that. Let's just cut across there. And it's not too bad. Check under here. You can see I got a segment here that's really not doing anything, so I'm going to control backspace that just to get it out, and then try flow connect. And that curves that a little bit more. Let's look at our side view. It's a pretty shallow curve. Some weird going on here. So I'm going to do is just cheat and scale that until I get down to nothing. Try to even it out. Okay, and then I can connect across here. Gonna connect here. Be on edge, bring it up to about like that. And then get rid of that guy. I can actually get rid of that guy. And kind of start evening out again a little bit. Being a mechanical object, you want to try to stay as even with your flow as possible, even if it is down a somewhat flat surface. And I know I got a little waviness going on most of these guys, but it's not so bad that it's killing anything. And when I set this to be vertical earlier, I broke it. I want to be on any kind of an edge. These ended up further away from the gun, which I'm going to fix. At some point that happened, so it's good to go back, take just an overall gander at what you're doing. Make sure nothing got pulled way out of form, and this did. And it's also a little wavy when I look at it from this side view. So let me take a look in perspective and see what I can do to help that out. Possible, quite possible, that set flow can help me out. Which it did a little, but it also kind of relaxed everything. Okay, I don't want to do it on that one. Let me go back to my front view and fix the front here. You can see everything got pulled kind of forward, so I'm just going to get it all. And really it came forward because I moved the center out. So I can pretty easily move everything back a hair there. Then I can fix this guy. And get this loop, go by edge. Just try to make that planar in the Z. It's going to be a little cleaner. It's got a little bit of a curve going this way. Let's see what happens if I do that here. Then I move it down a little bit, and then I can come off edge and fix my curve up. It looks like I should actually add a little bit here. It's actually kind of an inner curve going on here. If I just get this stuff out of the way, it's an inner curve which I can add if I do this flow connect and move it in a little bit. Looks like the tops of these guys have that slight inner curve. Again, reiterating that this is not to spec. This is an eyeballed model. It's following okay. Something weird going on there. I'll check that in a minute. Still working on what I've got going on here. You can see I came out forward here when I pulled out the middle. There's something funny going on here. This point is moved up. Those 2 points are moved up, so let me just shoot them back a little bit. That helps graduate this curve a little bit more, which is what it was doing. So I'm not going to go 100% back. Keep it like that. I want to be in a perfect straight line. I still want a slight bit of curve there. Again, I'm going to dump the center line eventually. I'm going to pull this out so I can map it with a normal. It does stick out. However, I'm not going to be adding this geometry because that would be a lot of polygons that I don't need. Tie these up here, but it's not hurting anything yet, I say. Okay, I don't like that. Try to keep that in line some. Okay, just tie this up. Nope, I don't need to do that one, just this guy. Okay, look too bad. Could probably tie that guy. Yeah, let's check what we got going on with our lighting artifacts. Still got these. It's okay. Still need to let's hit it with a auto smooth real quick to see what we get. Didn't really like what's going on here so much. but it's not bad. Materials will help. Let me pulling this out was actually incorrect. Should be a little closer, like that. Let me get these guys. Split onto their own group. One. So I'm just gonna stick them on 3 because it looks like they're crossing over 2 groups. That'll help bring that channel into play. Show up. Okay. Just gonna do this by edge and make it planar in the X. And I can even it out. It actually does seem like it kind of hits a corner right here, which is what I'm doing. It's a little more roundness to this bottom here than what I've got. However, I think it looks okay on the model. Gives a little bit of character. It does, it's flat right there, as I am flat right there. So I'm going to leave that. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on from shaping the grip, because that took quite a long time. But it was important to maintain that the gun is... Actually, let me make all this stuff here. A little hard to get close enough to this. Let me make that planar in the Z. Okay, so it's nice and flat. We start dumping some of these edges I know that are gonna get in my way, because I'm gonna go now to round this guy like I have going on the other one. Now what I'm gonna do real quick is, this is never gonna be really seen. It will when the slide's back, but not so much. I'm gonna just tuck it all to the back, because if I don't, when I go to make my roundness here to match the slide, it's gonna cut, and it's gonna give me a lot of extra polys, whereas I can pretty much just keep that a cylinder. The slide's over this, so it might be wise to let all that triangulation happen up here on that top surface. But I'm not gonna do that. I think I crashed. Well, let's hopefully... Okay, it saved it. Sweet. Pause video. Okay, the recovery worked, thank Christ. However, I can no longer undo to get that back like I said I was gonna do, which is a bum. Sucks. So let me just pick this guy and hide unselected. And what I'm gonna do to get that back manually is just go through and insert verts where it was, and then get rid of those guys, and now I can pretty much just, I don't really need to worry about making them even or anything like that. Like I said, it's just to make sure that there's no uglies. I hit my rivet here so I can see. Okay. I have a little issue chamfering out here, but that's okay for now. It's gonna be pretty easy to fix. Let me unhide by name my slide. Okay, and then I start my chamfer. Oh my god. Yeah, it doesn't like this at all. It wants to split down like that, so part of the problem is that I am trying to chamfer across a symmetry modifier. So this seems like a good time to actually collapse that, and then let me go to loop mode here, and I don't want to get this piece here because I need that. However, the entire rest of the model, and including this loop, can go bye-bye. Make sure I hold control, so if I hit 1, I don't leave behind any verts when I hit my backspace. Okay. I need to save that one, and I believe that one. Now I can control backspace. And let me see if I can't get that one out of there. Yeah. And then what I'll do is connect down here, so I'm no longer working in symmetry. However, I can always split that again and delete it in half again, but I believe I might be done with the part where I want to just work on half. I believe I've got this. Oh yeah, this segment here was to help this get dipped up early on. That's why it's there. Just trying to remember why I had that. So I'm going to keep that. And now, come off optimize. Oh, let me get rid of this guy because that's going to interfere with the chamfer running down the back. Okay, get these two guys. And now I should be good to chamfer. I know this is freaking, but it's okay. Just need to help it to a corner and it will be fine. So I won't try to even that out. However, it will even it out later for me when I do set flow. Let me unhide my slide again. So I need to try to match the number of segments, and I forgot to add that one. I'm so close that I can't move around, so I just hit Z to make that my standard zoom. 1. Let me go here. Looks like I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on the slide, I can always cut in more. It's kind of hard for me to tell with all this noise. So real quick, just to help this get off a freak out mode. Actually, you see I left behind a vert here, which I don't need. So let me just pick down these rows and see what set flow does for us. And it's doing an alright job so far probably get both sides. Okay. I want to try to match where these guys are on the slide so that the segments and the cuts match up, like basically doing oops, it wants to do it from its own. Let me go from the center. Just going to exaggerate a hair for a second. So I can see what's going on if I space it out some. It's not perfectly even. I'm going to have no choice but to fix it. And this has no choice but to come in if I move it down. However, that's drastic, so if I scale it I might have a little bit of a finer control, which I do. Okay. And now these puppies need to expand out. Now, the point of this hemisphere not being terminated at the halfway point was so that it actually interlocked. Let me take a quick look at the reference. You see, it's actually pretty tight here, even though there's a groove here, which is good news for me, and maybe for you, that we can take these two and move them up pretty close. Okay. Which means I get this weird banding of the segments due to the fact that I'm running this at a lower resolution than my full screen. I should want this guy up here, and what I'm going to do is so sometimes it's a little hard for me to pick up the edges. You can see if I get like an angle like that, I don't even really see them, it's just noise. Gotta get a better angle. So if I connect this with blow connect, you can see it doesn't know how to draw that anymore, so I just help that out. I think it's not letting me. What did I have extra that was selected? Oh, okay. Can't do both sides at the same time like that, so we just go back to flow connect. Piece of crap. Okay. And then flow connect that guy. Now this is a straight line inside here, even though this is not. So it's actually kind of wigging. It's drawn a triangle over the wrong point. So just to give that some aid, some help. Why can't I can just connect that, and then it doesn't freak out so much. It's still doing it here, it's not knowing where to draw these, which means I need to tell it where to draw it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to extend that extra point that I added into here. And really, to be honest with you, I only need that extra segment up here in the front, because all this stuff is going to be tucked inside the gun. In fact, I could just cut it here and delete those polys going back there, just keep the distance of the slide. That feels really steep to me now. Which, there's definitely a thickening and thinning. It's definitely going up. It just feels awfully steep. Might be because it needs to actually curve, so I could cut it there. But let me fix this first. And all I'm going to really do is just, come on, add some verts here. And then I'm going to actually connect them. But then I'm going to weld them. Okay, so it's actually just a triangle coming off of there. And then I'll let that draw back to... No, you dum-dum. Just gonna let all these guys draw back this way, because it's still wanting to draw over. You can see I got this edge poking out right here. So what I'm gonna do, because I'm actually getting a little tired of doing this guy, it's fighting me, just gonna ring that. Connect it. And then manually connect that. And that, like I said, I got some long, thin triangles going on, but they're inside the model. Along with that. Oh, it's because I need to put that guy up there. I need to zoom in because it's getting to be hurting the eyes here. Okay, so there's something still weird going on. Could have done this way earlier. You can see that this polygon here is just, I don't need to delete that one, I need to delete that one. And there's another one there. Actually, they're both crossing over. And then the safe thing to do here is just cap that. And now I should be able to connect. And what I want to do real quick is get the Y position of this guy. And then run down this line real fast. Go all the way to the end here. And make it planar in the Y. and then paste that back in. Okay, and you can see that dips in now. Do the same here. So, like I promised, I make mistakes, which is awesome, because then I get to have the fun of fixing them, which is also awesome if you're some kind of masochist. Alright, now let's just move this stuff forward. And when I go to totally finalize the model, I can make a determination on whether or not this is even going to be visible, and if it's not, I can delete it. Which I may well end up doing. But now let me fix my spacing here. I'm just going to get this edge that runs back and move it up slightly. Look at the left side. So now I'm looking straight on this guy. And what I can do is, if I look in wireframe mode, you can see I'm a little out of cahoots running down this thing. And really, I think the quickest way to fix that is to just scale them in this view. Just keep dragging, make sure I'm dragging in the X and the Y. I could also actually say everything but the X and just go Y and Z. Okay, view, my left view. However, if I do that here, as I say Y and Z, you can see there's a small chance that it craps it to the one point, but it didn't, so I'm good. So I'm safe to do Y and Z. Y and Z. Which is basically the exact same thing as scaling it. Okay. It didn't break anything on the rest of the model. I got this point here I don't need. Back that guy off. Backspace. Okay. So now I can return to fixing the spacing between the slide and the gun. And really, if I just go through, this one's okay. However, these are dipped down too far, so what I can do is I can use my scale tool based on my view and just kind of scale that down a little bit so it looks more even. And then try to go from the center here, get rid of these, and try to bring it in a little bit. Okay. And now I'm just going to manually clean it up. Only these though. Don't want to move that left and right. I want to keep that in the center. Again, I made it a little easier on myself if I had to put the symmetry back on, but it's not entirely necessary. I should get one vert there and one vert there, so I got two verts. So what I'm going to do is just going to move that out, and I'm going to copy the X, just double click it, don't get my minus sign, and then I'm going to, why didn't that, oh well, let's move it, whatever. Okay, looking in the front view, spacings, okay, or left view here, a little closer here. You can see this dips out some, but if I look on the perspective view, you don't see any of that mess that's going on. I do see through the gun right here, which means I got to pull this slide piece back, or I got to move this channel forwards, which is probably going to be easier than moving the slide. So I just take that and shaboom. Good crossover, but it's bad practice. So just going to go right to it. Maybe half a degree, if that, 0.01 degrees, where you could maybe possibly see straight through there. So it's closed. I'm also going to be going in and adding some of these little thin disc type things that are in here that are kind of like additional locks that are present in the image. You can see there's a piece of metal, a thin plate here. I can't tell if that's the plate or if that's the plate. I think this is the plate. I know that the Beretta that I have has little thin guide plates and things like that. One of them kind of comes up right along the inside of the slide and is actually shaped like this. That's an awful drawing. Like that. Okay, and it's got those things right by the trigger, and I believe that there's other plates that might go up like that. So let me get rid of that. So I will have some covering little things going on in there that can just be pretty flat looking, just enough. And I can paint them silver so that there's a little bit of contrasting mechanical stuff going on in there. Not overly worried about it. I don't know why that is. Oh, it's because of that. And I gotta fix that. Okay. Which means I want to fix that because I don't want that to accidentally go that way. And just temporary fix back on the slide. And all in all, even though we're not entirely done, we are looking at a Glock still, which is good news all around. So let me just start to, I might need to do a little splitting up here if this doesn't come out clean, which I'm guessing that these down here are gonna be for crap. For some reason this feels This is a little weird. Let me just zoom up in the front. Ah, there's my problem. This got pulled like in or something. And that's why it feels like I got this weird angle there. So let me just eyeball this guy. Am I doing it in the front view? And I need to kind of figure out what's going on here. So go back to perspective view. Get a selection so I can spin around it. And what I'm going to do is just get that front face. And make it plainer. And that should actually fix it. Now what I need to look at in my is it actually looks like either the slide channel. See, this one is straight. That's vertical. This model has this curve, and we're going with this model, which is what it's leaving me with. This is poking out. So I either need to take this slide here, grow that minus that, and I either need to move this whole thing in so it's like that, or I can take a stab at the skew again, but that didn't work for me last time and it makes me nervous. It usually works, just might not work on and actually that is going to work. Let me try to get a side view here. In fact, I'm going to actually go to the side view. And I can move my skew. You can see skew is like basically like a rotate, but it doesn't let anything move in the up and down. So it's a skew, you know. You've got skew in Photoshop. And that is perfect. So I'm going to collapse that, hit 4 again, and just bring that perfectly in line with that. And actually I'll bring it popping out a little bit. It gives me a little bit more full frontal detail. Should be good. Let's take a peek. Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it one bit. I'm actually in good shape. I can add the thumb guard, I think, is probably what I'll do next. I might bulge out what's going on here. Most of everything else can be in normal maps, however. I will need to add this, not these, it's normaled. This, which is the slide lock. Okay, this channel here, when this is under pressure to go up once there's no bullet, and once this goes back, the little ridge there hooks on this. So I mean, I think everybody knows how a gun works. I'm not going to explain it too much. Here's our mag release. There's some kind of pin here. Could be some to do something. I'm assuming it's going to be at least something to do something. So I'll be 100% accurate on that. Got that channel there. Other than that, I'm actually getting pretty close to being done, which is good news, seeing as how we're rolling into probably the 7-hour mark now. I'm not tired. I don't know about you. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here and encode, and then I'll go and add these other fine details, and then we'll attack the mag, and we'll be done.